I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. And this is Currents. Food and fun to help feed the hungry in Brooklyn.
It just seemed very respectful and very efficient, and it's everything I'm looking for in a charity to support.
Fighting human trafficking in the wake of the massive Haiti earthquake.
In Haiti, there was already a trafficking problem prior to the earthquake. You already had a lot of people who were very vulnerable, and particularly children.
And it's not high school, it's a Catholic yearbook. And it's getting bigger and bigger.
Well, good evening and thank you so much for joining us. There was some sign of hope last month with the unemployment rate across the whole country dipping below 10%. But the situation doesn't look good moving forward from here.
That's right. New reports say as many as 1 million people could lose their unemployment benefits if Congress fails to act. And Brooklyn is already particularly hard hit. The most recent numbers have the unemployment rate here in the borough at more than 11%. That is higher than the national average.
Certainly not good news there, but that has done nothing to dash the spirits of those who want to help, as I found out last week. 1 in 5 New Yorkers will use emergency food this year. And in those emergencies, people turn to St. John's Bread and Life for help.
You can help yourself if you go there. They have everything there for you, like the computers that are there to help you search for a job. So it's almost like that this facility is encouraging to help you get more by providing you with a start.
Leanne Brust first volunteered at the Brooklyn-based charity to help with a Thanksgiving meal, one of the over 400,000 served every year.
There's so much food there. They let anyone in. It was awesome.
Executive Director Anthony Butler lets people support in other ways too, like this event at Abigail's Wine Bar in Brooklyn. For just $30, people exchange conversation over cocktails and hors d'oeuvres and raffle prizes, with the money raised being matched by the Brooklyn Community Foundation.
I would hope it does what we put in our tagline, a friend raiser, that will develop a relationship with folks to volunteer, to continue to donate, to use their voice to make Brooklyn better, to recognize the hunger needs in Brooklyn, and recognize kind of our demands and our obligation to help our neighbors.
Joanna Ottman-Smith first heard about St. John's through friends.
The most exciting thing for me was the use of technology in servicing people of need. I thought that was such an amazing leap to make, to use high-tech delivery systems to let people choose their groceries on an online service. It just seemed very respectful and very efficient, and it's everything I'm looking for in a charity to support.
St. John's Bread and Life has actually recently started raising some money by selling merchandise with its logo right on it. Take this apron, for instance. You can put it on, and if you are supporting St. John's Bread and Life, you don't have to go out there and do it in the kitchen. You can do it right from your own kitchen at home. Vanessa Williams has been volunteering for 8 years.
I do everything. I do web design. I used to be the volunteer coordinator assistant for volunteers. Receptionist. I still do the mailings. I do a little bit of everything. I'm like a Jackie of all trades.
This Jackie also met her husband while volunteering at St. John's, but that's not all that she and other supporters say they've gotten out of giving.
A lady, one of the clients, she told me that Bread and Life helped her keep her kids. Just helping people makes me feel like, I'm doing something worthwhile, not just staying at home watching TV, eating, getting fat.
I'm the kind of person that material things don't really fulfill me, but if I know that I'm helping someone else positively, when I go to sleep at night, I just feel better about myself.
Well, we have more about St. John's Bread and Life on our website. All you have to do is head over to currentsny.net.
Well, stay tuned. In the meantime, there's more Currents coming up straight ahead. When we return, what role Hispanics will play in the future of the church.
Welcome back. Well, coming up, a young girl turns a birthday gift into a gift for people in Haiti. But first, we have some other news. At the Vatican last weekend, Pope Benedict received the latest tally of Catholics in the world. Details now from H2O News.
According to the 2010 Annuario Pontificio, or Pontifical Yearbook, which was presented to Benedict XVI on Saturday, February 20th, there are more Catholics, priests, and seminarians in the world, in particular in Asia and Africa. The Pope expressed his gratitude for the new yearbook that was prepared by the Central Office of Church Statistics and showed vivid interest in the statistics that indicate a global increase of Catholics in the world. In 2008, the number of baptized Catholics rose to 1.166 billion, an increase of 19 million in regard to the previous year. Comparing this number with the evolution of the global population to 6.70 billion, there was a slight increase in the global percentage of Catholics. The Pontifical Yearbook will soon be available in bookstores.
And a growing number of Catholics in this country are Hispanics. That's having a big impact, and not just in the pews, as our Natalia Ortiz first told us last fall.
Most guys in their mid-20s are hanging out at bars picking up girls, but the guys at this bar are in a very different mission. Meet Carlos Velázquez, Felix Herrera, and Jason Espinal. They're the next Hispanics in line to be ordained priests, and the bar where they're shooting pool is in the basement of the Immaculate Conception Seminary in Huntington. Recently, I got to spend a few hours looking at what the life of these young men is like.
You know, we're not, people have some kind of an image of a seminary in their head that we're all walking around praying all day. You know, we are doing that, we are praying, but there's a lot more to seminary life. You know, there's study, there's time for study, there's time for work, and there's time for play.
So play as in the organ.
As in the organ, yep.
But when he's not playing the organ, Carlos spends most of his spare time studying in his room. Okay.
This is what a normal seminarian's room looks like.
It's kind of small.
Yeah, it's very small.
So am I the first girl to come into your room?
I think you are, yeah. Actually, no, you're not. My mother was here a few weeks ago.
Well, your mother doesn't count.
And my sister, but you're the only other person that's been here.
But there are many things these priests-to-be do that's no different than every other typical 20-something. So, you may not think, but seminarians, too, are on Facebook.
It's really nice because I can stay in contact with my family or my friends, people who I've been to school with and stuff, so it works well.
Cool.
Same reason everyone else uses it for.
Yeah. You know, we just think you guys live in this bubble. I think that's what happens. Perhaps most people think seminarians are so different because the decision to become a priest is seen as countercultural by most. So why would a young guy want to give up the prospect of having a wife and kids?
And in every other major I chose, I was never as comfortable as I was when I was in the seminary and thinking about the priesthood. Not because I knew I couldn't do anything else, because I could, but it's just that this was what was right for me.
But, as in most important life choices, Jason tells us doubt arises every now and then.
You know, you question whether this life is truly for me, but even in a marriage, you have both spouses that they have to communicate all the time. And there are times that you're just like, how do I know that this is the wife for me? Well, the church is our spouse, and how do we know that this is for us? You just kind of know. You're led to her, and you're called to love her.
Okay. Though the typical Hispanic family wants to see their family grow, these men assert they're simply choosing a different type of family. As Hispanic priests, they will carry an additional responsibility, ministering effectively to the Brooklyn Diocese's fastest growing group.
In our present world, you know, many Hispanics are seen as the minority, you know, and they want to express their rights. You know, they're saying, you know, we come to this country to find the same goals that many Italian Americans and Irish Americans did back in the 30s or 20s, you know, and they want that same opportunity. So I think, as me as a priest, I think I can outreach to them and bring them into the fold and say, you know, I'm one of you guys, I'm here to support you. Come, ask me anything you want, and I will give you as much time as I can. So.
And they think that's a worthy goal to shoot for.
The three men are scheduled to be ordained in the summer of 2014.
Well, finally, while a lot of folks give up some kind of food for Lent, like chocolates or dessert, sounds pretty familiar to me about right now, St. John's Church in Larksville, Pennsylvania is giving people a reason to eat more. Their specialty, a Polish and Russian delicacy called the pierogi. They've been making them for a century at the church, and they just passed a pierogi milestone, 10 million and counting. Take a look.
Well, I'm actually the chief dough maker. I've been making dough since all the time that we've been up here, and I must have made about 50,000.
How do you make the perfect pierogi?
Well, you have to know how to pinch them nice and neat, and they have to be filled. Mashed potatoes, Cooper's sharp cheese, and the dough.
Make sure the circles are round.
Just practice, practice.
Practice,
Don't
practice.
your fingers hurt after a while?
Nope, that's good therapy.
These are the last balls. For next Monday.
When they start floating, then they're done.
And grease them up good so they don't stick. Take them home and just drop them in some boiling water.
I am putting the coolest pierogies to the end so that they can bag them up and get them on the trays.
Inspect them, make sure none are broken, and pack them up.
10 million pierogies today.
And you are Mrs. Pierogi.
So they say.
Okay.
I take the orders, fill the orders.
Who's going to eat the 10 millionth pierogi?
I have no idea. But it won't be me.
This is a big moment here. What do we got here?
How about got the millionth pierogi right here. Don't they look good?
Are they the best in northeastern Pennsylvania?
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
I know. I was going to say, did you have lunch yet?
I bet you're surprised. No, I haven't had anything today. So it's, I'm, as is per usual for me about this time of day.
Right, yeah, you're running around writing stories and stuff. I remember when I used to work for WB&G in upstate New York over in Binghamton, they always would send pierogies. The church ladies there would do a festival every year, and they'd send boxes of pierogies over to us. And everybody who knows a newsroom is always like diving into them, and they were really good. It's like cabbagey and oniony, and they're very filling.
It's, if you release food around the newsroom, you better watch your hands.
Watch out.
You might bring back a nub.
This is true. Stay tuned. There's much more current straight ahead.
Just ahead, news you can use on human trafficking.
The State Department estimates about 14,500 to 17,500 people are being trafficked into the United States.
Welcome back. Well, the crisis in Haiti has focused renewed attention on a problem that often spreads during a natural disaster. It's human trafficking. And it's come to the forefront again following the story of the Baptist missionaries who were arrested, jailed, and charged with trying to take children out of Haiti illegally.
Hard to believe, but there are now fears that thousands may be at risk in Haiti, especially children. And to get a clearer understanding of what human trafficking involves and what can be done about it, Natalia Ortiz recently sat down to talk with two experts on the issue.
Hello, we're with Mary DeLaurie of Catholic Relief Services and Nisa Parampal of the USCCB, and they oversee the anti-trafficking programs in their organizations. Ladies, with Haiti's earthquake recently, a lot of concerns about human trafficking have surfaced. So I guess our first question is, what exactly is human trafficking? And either one of you can take that.
Well, human trafficking is defined by the U.S. law as either sex trafficking or labor trafficking, and it's regarding anybody who is forced, coerced, deceived into a situation. And so, for example, for labor trafficking, it could be something like a servant in someone's home who is not getting paid and is forced to work there and cannot leave. They're held against their will. And for sex trafficking, it could be something like an agency or a business that looks like a regular business, like a nail salon or a massage parlor, which really is a brothel in the back.
And so this may seem like an obvious question, but some viewers may not understand. Some of the people in Haiti who have been victims or are victims of the earthquake are now more vulnerable to the human trafficking. Why would that be?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is that in Haiti there was already a trafficking problem prior to the earthquake. You already had a lot of people who were very vulnerable, and particularly children. And that's both because of the poverty, but also because of limited protections for them, legal protections, etc. And you also had a number of people, a number of kids particularly, who have been trafficked across the border into the Dominican Republic, where there's a lot of migration that occurs, and you have forced labor situations already. So when the entire system was so hard hit, you had many of the child care centers and families, the houses collapsed, the orphanages collapsed, and you had a much larger number both of children who were very vulnerable on top of those who already were vulnerable,
Right.
but also now women, there are some cases of trafficking that have been identified.
How do people get out of human trafficking? Is this something, I mean, it seems like it would be so difficult once you're in. I mean, what's the likeliness once you're in for you to be saved?
Well, here in the United States, those who are victims of trafficking here, sometimes people get a chance to escape, but it's very rare. Sometimes there is a tip in the community that something amiss is going on in the neighborhood or a business or a home even. Law enforcement could go in and identify people. Sometimes the person is removed from the situation, maybe arrested wrongfully, thinking that they are a criminal rather than a victim. And sometimes with the tips in the community, people are good Samaritans, and they help the person out of the situation. There are not a lot of people who have been identified, so these are very small cases that we're talking about.
Right.
So I think that the main answer to your question is it's very difficult.
Right, and then one of the things you said, Nisa, that I think a lot of people are not aware of is that there are people being trafficked into the United States, and I don't think that's known.
The State Department estimates about 14,500 to 17,500 people are being trafficked into the United States, but there's also U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents that are trafficked within the borders of the United States, and a few are trafficked outside the borders. So it is a problem, and the estimates for U.S. citizens being trafficked are really unknown at this point.
What's being done to help? I mean, Catholic Relief Services and the USCCB obviously have programs instilled and in place for this.
Well, Catholic organizations, as one of the really most significant responders globally, it has the advantage of having organizations, social service organizations, where at the countries where people are being trafficked from, where they're passing through in transit, and where they're ending up. So you have quite a number of responses from national Catholic social agencies, from religious orders, there's now a whole network of Catholic agencies that work together internationally called COTNET.
Okay.
And it's both the exchange of information, but also the learning process and following what has been achieved and how to learn from each other of improving prevention, improving intervention for protection, and then the protection of people once they've been, the services they need once they are able to get out of trafficking and reintegrate into communities where possible.
Well, here in the United States, there is a coalition of Catholic organizations against trafficking, which Catholic Relief Services and USCCB are a part of. And then, the different Catholic organizations, Catholic Health Association, Catholic Charities USA, and USCCB, all are providing different sorts of services, either services directly to the survivors. It could also be advocacy and education.
And so speaking of education, where can one find information about this and educate themselves about human trafficking?
Well, I think if they go to our websites, either the Catholic Relief Services or USCCB websites, they can learn more. There's also a national resource center that you can either call or you can go online, but the 1-800 number is 1-888-3737-888. And if you know someone who's maybe in a situation or you just want more information, you can call the number.
Okay, and are there any last thoughts that you'd like to leave with our audience about human trafficking?
Catholics Confront Global Poverty is a campaign to look at those poverty issues and what we as U.S. citizens can do, as well as the Justice for Immigrants campaign, which you can get from both our websites.
Thank you so much for coming all the way from Washington and from Baltimore for this interview, and we hope to be able to see you again sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Natalia has written more about this over on our blog. Just go to currentsny.net and click on Riding the Wave.
Well, what else is being done to help people in and around Port-au-Prince? One powerful answer straight ahead.
When we return, how one Queens student hopes to make a difference in Haiti.
It really hurt me just to see them like that, to see them so lost, feel like there's no hope. And I want to tell them that there is hope.
Well, as we just saw, the crisis in Haiti remains quite serious, and there are still efforts underway to bring people there help and hope. And some here in New York are giving whatever they can, sometimes in surprising and even some inspiring ways.
That's definitely the case in this woman, the girl that you're about to meet. Last month, we first introduced you to one of those people who's doing something a little bit special. Her name is Ashley Torrenti, and she's a 6th grader at Holy Family School in Flushing. She saw an opportunity to turn a birthday celebration into something just a little bit more, An occasion for gift giving became itself a gift. Tonight, that's why she is our eyewitness.
I want to do my part. Some people say, oh, they'll make it. And I'm like, no, they won't. Well, $600 were meant for my birthday. I was going to have a party with my friends, but I thought the people in Haiti needed this more than I did. When I saw everybody there, them crying, I remembered when my grandmother died. I didn't know her, I never really met her, but even though I didn't know her, I still felt bad. I believe I was 8 or 9, and I didn't like seeing my mom hurt either. So when the kids of Haiti and all the mothers, the fathers, and I heard a lot how the pastors died there, I felt really bad. Even though I didn't know them, like my grandmother, I still felt for them. In kindergarten, I did the same thing. I sent $5,000, and for the tsunami. A lot of people thought, no, we could just leave it. I didn't feel that way. I thought they needed somebody. We have a lot compared to other people, and we should sometimes put them first. My entire life, I go to church every Sunday, I work in the choir, I'm also an altar server. In the beginning, I wanted to become a sister or a nun, but I decided not to. Ever since I was in 4th grade, I want to become a writer. I really want to write mystery books and fiction books because I love them a lot. A lot of writers have inspired me, and I also like to write poems. Robert Frost was one of the first poets that I read, and I just really liked it. He opened my eyes saying that there's stuff everywhere that you can write about. I definitely see Christ as a role model. I picture him as being a person who loves everybody. Him being forgiving and just wanting the best for everybody. And that's exactly how I feel. I would forgive any of my friends, my family, and I love them all. I would always give a second chance. I know there's always a second chance. I know he'd put others first, and I feel the same way. I know that others are more in need than I am, and I think he would agree with me that I'm doing the right thing. I would tell the people of Haiti that it really hurt me just to see them like that, to see them so lost, feel like there's no hope. And I want to tell them that there is hope, that they're not alone, that there are people here that want to help them. Things are going to get better for them. I know it is.
Well, you know, I remember being about that age, sixth grade or so, and how important my birthday party was to me every year. You know, it was something that I looked forward to and all that. So for someone that age to make that kind of sacrifice is a big deal.
You could tell she was really giving that gift from her heart. This wasn't something that she did flippantly or didn't think about. She really had a connection to spiritually and I think emotionally and in her gut, even though she's young, she's sort of an old soul, to all of the suffering that they had been through. And in any case, if she could alleviate some of it, she wanted to help. Right.
You can definitely tell she's kind of wise beyond her years. And, you know, just that gift of giving and giving up and sacrifice for her. And, you know, I guess we're in the season of Lent now, and that's kind of a sacrificial time and a time of penance and all that. And that was something, of course, she did this a little bit ago, about a month ago or so, but it's something that I guess we can all learn from during this time.
I was just about to say, I think it points to the fact that we can all give a little bit more. There's another movement out there about like give half or live half. You know, like there was a downsizing of a family that had a really big house and they live in a smaller one. And they just encourage people to sort of give something. And the idea behind, I think, it all is that there's always somebody else out there who needs something more than you do. And so if you can give what you can, and we all did that, then that can make a big difference.
Be a huge, huge thing. Well, that's it for this edition of Currents. Now, coming up tomorrow, the impact of abortion on men. It's a side of the pro-life story you may not have heard, so tune in for that.
Quite interesting. Well, meantime, remember, you don't even need a TV to watch Currents. I know a lot of folks in New York don't have one. You can always just catch us online. A lot of you have computers, right, and laptops and stuff. Just go to currentsny.net. And you can also follow us on Twitter over there, and you can become a fan on Facebook as well. Just posted a bunch of new videos today of previous shows in case you haven't caught those, so go check them out. Until next time, I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Have a great night.